me. Fall before me.
Don't run. We're just playing. Out of mana.
Hello and welcome Exiles to the day number 7 update to the Essence Drain Lich. This update was all about upgrading the defenses. You may notice we have about 5,000 additional energy shield on our character. And where did this come from? It came from basically just getting more flat ES on our gear. For example, we were wearing a Doedri's pair of gloves, which gives 50 flat ES. Now we have a rare pair of gloves. The idea between swapping between Doedri's and a rare pair of gloves is you get back cast speed, but you lose that big chunk of 100% spell damage. I do not recommend swapping to rare gloves until you have decent percent damage on your wand and your focus. Quite frankly, I probably should have waited until I got more percent damage on those two items before swapping, but to be honest, I just wanted to upgrade my ES and just be a bit tankier, and that's the difference between a rare versus a Doedri's gloves. This is a DPS option versus investing into more tank. Ultimately, the finalizing upgrades for the last update of this character we're going to do is going to be all about upgrading the final damage upgrades, getting a +5 wand, getting more percent damage on our wand and focus. Stuff like that is what we're going to be looking into. Aside from the gloves, we also upgraded our chest piece. We had an 818 ES chest piece. Now we have 1,062. And we upgraded our boots. Our boots were like at 270 ES. Now they're at 300. And then we upgraded our amulet, which had a bit lower percent ES than this one currently does. So between those upgrades, we were able to push the ES up to 16,000. And we got, I think, one more passive for percent ES. I'm well on my way to level 93 for another percent passive ES. As for late game of this character, where are we going to go in terms of min-max? Well, one of the future updates we will make is right now we're doing Essence Infusion. It's a very cheap anoint that just works out pretty well. But late game, I'm thinking we will be dropping this cluster right here, and we will either anoint Spiral into Insanity, or we can anoint Spaghettification. I think those are probably two of the top tier anoints we can do late game, in which case we'll probably spec the faster start of recharge part of the wheel, and then respec a lot of those extra points we get back into small ES nodes to top us off. I think that's probably what the late game of this character is going to look. Ultimately, I do not plan on leveling this all the way to 100 because the leveling slog is just so long. When I did the Spark Mage last, on the last PoE launch, the initial PoE 2 launch, I did it to like 94 or 95, something like that. The leveling gets really involved after that, and I'm not personally that much of a grinder in terms of wanting to push to the high levels. Anyways, so that goes over the tree changes and most of the gear updates. I have been updating the planner live during stream when we make changes. And the other big update you may notice is we no longer have the explode node on here. We have the jewel socket. Now, why did I do that? Ultimately, the explode node felt good initially when our clear was, I don't know, a bit lackluster, or our damage felt a bit lackluster in terms of the chaining. And I don't know if I got lured into it by the initial explode pops seeming like they were good for us, but after playing no explode, swapping back around and trying it out without it, I think explode just kind of bricks contagion chains. Like, what ends up happening is, let's say you have a monster here, a monster here, and a monster here. You can contagion essence drain this mob, and then if it like blows up and kills this with the explosion, the contagion spread does not go through to the third monster, and thus it'll stop a chain. There's a lot of instances where you have a nice dense pack of monsters where if you contagioned and essence drained, it would ultimately clear the whole pack. But with explode, sometimes you would kill a link that would stop the contagion from jumping to the next monster. And I noticed this was a bit problematic, where it would happen and it would stop really good explosion or basically chain contagions from occurring. And it just felt a little bit unfortunate. So ultimately we swapped with the jewel socket, which is another big ES increase, about 1,000 ES upgrade from doing this, because you get double the ES from an ES jewel on top of some extra stats like percent damage and cast speed. So those are the main changes we did in terms of the tree changes. In terms of passive, in terms of skill setups, we did try a few different things. Most recently, we were trying out Mana Tempest with Life Tap. This, I guess I put my Life Tap somewhere. Oh, my Life Tap's over here. Life Tap with Mana Tempest and Premeditation basically was 15% more damage. On top of it, let the Essence Drain split, and it gave some extra hit-based damage, which helped out the damage a little bit. This worked just perfectly with Lich, and it seems they hot fixed it to not work. It was previously that you could use Life Tap with this, and it would just not drain your life at all, and it would just work. Waking up this morning, it seems like they patched it, so rest in peace. This is something you might have seen me on stream yesterday doing, which I'm not going to be doing anymore, because as far as I can tell, it no longer works. It got patched out. As for other things we are looking into, is I may be attempting to try out Tame Beast potentially. You'll notice I have a lot of decks on my tree. That is just so I can equip this skill gem. I might see how this compares to the Blasphemy Aura. Given we are swapping out of Explode, Blasphemy is less necessary. That being said, the Blasphemy Aura is just pretty solid, so I might still just keep Blasphemy Aura on the build. I want to try out Tame Beast and see how it feels, if it feels like it's worth more to me than the Blasphemy Aura is. So that's something I'm looking into. Another thing you'll know about this character is we did end up trying out Dark Effigy. Now, ultimately, I'm a totem hater. I've said it multiple times, but a lot of people just keep asking about it, so I figured I would address it and say, yes, you can put this on your build for when you do single target. It just gives you more damage. There isn't really any downside to doing it. You can do it for adding proccing Wither. You can do it for proccing Drain Ailment support on your Essence Drain for a bigger damage multiplier. You can do it just because it hits pretty hard and it does extra damage. Ultimately, right now, I'm testing a setup with Extraction, Envenom, Control Destruction, Ironwood for making this a bit tankier, but it seems like the totem just dies no matter what, so I might as well just swap this to like Conk Effect for more single target or something, and Withering Touch. Ultimately, yes, you could do this on bosses. It'll increase your single target. I was just not doing it because I didn't feel like it was necessary at the boss tier I was doing. It didn't feel like all the way up to T15s without any plus boss levels when bosses have about 1 million HP. I was killing the bosses in about 5 to 10 seconds. I didn't really want to worry about putting down an extra thing and add that skill bind in. Now that the bosses are at 3, 4, 5 million HP, as you start adding those boss levels to it, yeah, it's probably necessary to put into the build because the boss timers are going to take longer to kill. And so, yeah, I'm going to address that right now. It is in the planner. You can use it or not use it. That's up to you. It's just extra single target, adds an extra button, loses a bit of quality of life, gives you more single target. There's a trade-off. You can make the choice of whether or not you want it. And then on top of that, I seem to be getting asked a lot about Sigil of Power, what links I use in Sigil of Power. There's not really any good support gems I've found for this. I tried a couple different things out that didn't really do anything or didn't really improve the build much, so use whatever you think might make sense, but ultimately I didn't find anything worth using for Sigil. Ooh, we got a sale. Nice. Another thing I want to talk about on the character, which I get asked about a lot, and I set up my character with full life just to showcase it. I've showcased this in other videos, but it keeps getting asked, so I'm going to showcase it again. In order, if you die, you end up with full life, and you say, how do I get back to low life? It's a pretty simple setup. You swap this helmet on. It has Eldritch Battery that removes your ES, and then you use a channeled Incinerate or channeled any channel skill with life tap, and that will drain down your life, and you just need to be at 35% or lower HP, and that will mean you're going to get your faster cast speed, your character's going to feel good, and on top of that you will have the faster start of recharge. That's why we're doing the low life. Figured I'd readdress this now. And the one last time, I'm also going to readdress the reservations. People, you could use both Blink, Convalescence, Blasphemy, and Withering Presence. You can use all of these at the same time, and all that it requires is that you put the Convalescence and the Blink on your weapon set 2. You'll see these aren't active. Let's say I cast my curse, it swaps weapon set 2. Now these are active. We are snapshotting the fact these are cooldown related abilities, and we can take advantage of them whenever the cooldown runs out to proc the benefits. For example, Convalescence, you don't have to worry about weapon swapping. The game will automatically use the skill without you having to think about it. And as for Blink, I personally prefer the animation cancel, where I start casting Despair and then I press the blink button. It will animation cancel and instantly blink you, and I think that works pretty well. For example, doing this. That is how you get the blink to occur, and that's how I like to do it. So that, just wanted to address that again, because these are some of the most common questions I get. Ultimately, if you look at the planner, I will continue to be updating the FAQ with frequently asked questions about. I guess I should add a section for the. I'm gonna add a section for the reservations probably there, because I get that one a lot in terms of what something that people don't quite realize. So hopefully that make more sense. Also, the planner has the correct weapon sets. For slot 1 is weapon set 1, and slot 2 is weapon set 2. That's all on the planner as well. So yeah, that is the idea for the character. As we're coming to the conclusion of the build, I am planning to do a final update video / build guide, where I do actually a full write-up build guide. My goal for that is hopefully by Monday, Tuesday time. I want to get that out. This was my plan for PoE 2, is I was going to do one build where I did a fully fleshed out guide, depending on how well it went and stuff like that, and it went pretty well. And then ultimately, I was always planning to play Last Epoch for the new launch, so I'm going to get excited about that coming probably around Tuesday-ish time. But before then, I want to finish up a full written guide on the character, so that way you guys have a roadmap to follow, so to speak, of the progression, besides our leveling tree, more of a write-up that explains why we do certain things at certain times, etc, etc. So yeah, the plan is min-max the gear a little bit more, get it to a finalized state, challenge all the different T4 bosses, and see how we do. Ultimately, we have done all the way up to a T3 Arbiter now. I've failed one T3 Arbiter because I blinked blast into the explosion mechanics. That being said, I do have a small goal to make the character so we can just outright tank the supposed should be one-shot mechanics from Arbiter, and we'll see how that goes. Anyways, that was the update to the Chaos.Lich. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the journey of the character. Hopefully you're enjoying playing the character. As always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Take care and peace out. Have a good one.